Hi there, and just to welcome you back, this is an English language service for people who are in Brazil, don't speak Portuguese, and are wanting to know what's going on in the country. So I'll just wait a couple of minutes because I've been told that it takes a little while for these live streaming services to kick in, and then I'll let you know what the latest situation is. Okay, so let's tell you where we are at the moment. So at 6 o'clock this evening, 21st of March, we are looking at 1,128 confirmed cases of the new coronavirus COVID-19 and 18 deaths in Brazil. That's a jump of 7 from this time yesterday, or roughly 60–70%. So the numbers continue to rise sharply. Most of the cases are in Sao Paulo. There have been 15 deaths there and over 600 cases, and also in Rio, where the other 3 deaths have occurred. And so because of this situation, the measures to contain the virus are really being ramped up in Brazil. In Sao Paulo earlier today, there was a press conference with the state governor and also the mayor of the city. And they've announced that the whole of Sao Paulo state will go into lockdown beginning on Tuesday, and it will remain in lockdown until the 7th of April, so 2 weeks, with the possibility of that lockdown being extended for a longer period of time should they think it necessary. So from Tuesday, along with all the businesses that have closed and also schools that have closed so far, bars and restaurants and cafes will also have to close their doors. They will be able to adapt to delivery services if they wish to try and keep up some custom, but won't be allowed to have people on their premises. And it means that the only services that will be open are the ones that are considered to be essential, so supermarkets, pharmacies, health services, cleaning services, and also public transport. The governor has asked people aged over 60 not to go out anymore and to ask friends, family, and neighbours to help them out if they need any help. And there will be a decree issued as well on Tuesday for law enforcement officers, for them to be able to know how they should enforce the decree. I understand that people are not being obliged to stay indoors from Tuesday, but they are being strongly advised to limit the spread of the virus in Sao Paulo, which, as I say, is the worst affected area in Brazil. Also, earlier today in Sao Paulo, police had to close off roads leading down to the Sao Paulo coastline because there was a huge influx of tourists in a number of the coastal cities and towns there. And so those cities actually asked for an intervention and for the roads to be blocked off because they thought that if there was a sudden surge in cases there, the system, the health system in those small towns would not be able to cope. So please, nobody who is now officially working from home and staying at home, please don't decide that you're going to go and spend that time in another place, on the coast, in the mountains, wherever, because it risks spreading the disease to those areas. In Rio, the city is officially in lockdown from today, and that is being enforced by police officers on the Rio-Niterói Bridge. They're turning back any buses, taxis, or ride application cars from Uber or Cabify. They're preventing them from crossing over the bridge unless they're actually originally from the city of Rio. And there are some other measures that are coming into place, or the mayor is hoping to put into place soon. For example, he's thinking of even bringing the army in to patrol the streets and to make sure that people are staying indoors. We're being asked here to stay in unless, again, we have to go and get some essential supplies, or for any workers within essential services such as the health service or security, or also public transport. In terms of public transport in Rio, it has been reduced quite significantly. The only intermunicipal transport that is now open are the ferries from Niterói to Rio, and also the Supervia train services coming from the Greater Rio and Baixada Fluminense areas. And because they've been reduced so much, there was actually trouble this morning on some of those services, because in fact the carriages of the trains were full. There were huge lines, so the idea of social distancing was not able to be enforced properly in those situations. Another couple of measures that Rio is thinking of bringing in is to allow supermarkets to stay open 24 hours a day. The idea being that that means that people will not have to crowd into the shops. They can go into the supermarkets at any time of day that they like. And also another measure is to allow delivery services to happen at any time of day. So we will see, and I will let you know when those measures are actually in place, if the army does indeed end up coming down onto the streets to enforce the lockdown. And if you have any information that you think might be necessary for people who don't speak Portuguese and are in Brazil, they want to know what's going on, please let me know. I'm just doing my own research on the internet here, bringing my own contacts, and also watching the 24-hour news services here. I'll give you another update tomorrow at about midday. And in the meantime, stay at home if you possibly can, and stay safe.